Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new dev blog that has just dropped today in regards to mineral distribution throughout high-sec, low-sec and null-sec, and the possible ramifications and the current market changes that has caused almost instantly. Now earlier today CCP did a stream on Twitch in regards to this and covered a lot of questions etc. that were being asked, and one of them was, which I think is quite important, is this is not a permanent state, and at the moment this is again just to get minerals etc. out of the game and to shake things up. And although this will cause a lot of disruption in the short term, again they're hoping it's going to be better for the game long term. So if you have no idea what I'm actually talking about, I will link this article in the description. But basically this is the resource distribution update blog. I'm not going to bother reading it all out. The important parts are, in high sec you will only be able to mine tritanium. Low sec will be the only place to get isogen and nox. And in low sec will be zydrin, megasite and morphite. What's going on in wormholes is anybody's guess, as they haven't told us, but excluded minerals will be tritanium, nox and morphite, so I don't know if you'll be able to get the other minerals that aren't excluded. Again, it's not sure. So one of the bigger changes are ores are getting either a reduction or an increase depending. Now as you can see here, the tritanium amount from each asteroid type is diminished quite significantly from some and not quite as much from others, but pretty much across the board. Other than Pragdicles, that it has a 68 tritanium plus, so it's minus pretty much for all the rest, and quite significantly for Croci etc. Now yeah, so there are exceptions, however it's quite a big change and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. So generally across the board there will be a reduction apart from hemomorphite and hebragite, whatever, which is being increased by 400% in low sec security. Anchinor's being reduced, bistot's being reduced in null sec, kernite and mechs will be reduced by 90%, which is pretty massive considering that is pretty much used, which gives you morphite, which is used for all T2 production. As it currently stands, all high sec ore anomalies are being removed. Certain ore anomalies are being removed from low sec systems. Quantity of various low sec anomalies will be increased by 300%, however. Now it would appear that there is obviously a push to get people spread out a bit more through high sec, low sec and null sec, and that basically what they're doing is they are forcing the three regions to interact with one another. And so basically if you want tritanium you'll have to acquire it from people in high sec. If you want the isogen and nox, the only place it will come from is low sec. Now obviously you can get these from modules that drop from rats and from missions etc, but in regards to the mining amount it will be interesting to see how this plays out, because obviously null sec is generally more dangerous to an extent than high sec and is considerably more dangerous than null sec. Now it will depend on how long this goes on, because again there's going to be a lot of there's not going to be a many amount of people that decide to go to a low sec to mine, just due to the fact that it's inherently dangerous, it's hard to get the stuff out of there, and yeah, it's going to have to arise by quite a considerable amount, I imagine, before people are going in droves and mining. Now that's not to say that it isn't going to rise considerably, and due to the fact that very few people initially will be mining it in low sec, then isogen and noxium could rise considerably even from its current price. Now back to the point, all three areas of space will have to interact with one another to an extent in order to get the minerals they need in order to build the ships, items etc that they want, and that will create, I imagine, some very interesting cross-market problems. Now, CCP hasn't stated how long they intend this phase to last, or again when or if it will be moving to another phase after this. And I guess that's for several reasons, that again they can monitor it and then take it away as they see fit, or again they can amend it without actually giving us their roadmap on how they intended to do this. It was quite smart to an extent, because again they can change it and manipulate it however they need, and it can last as long as they want. Again, potentially this may not have been in the original road plan, but minerals from null site weren't disappearing fast enough, and therefore in order to encourage the nullsec alliances to burn through their reserves that they have, then they just stripped it all out from tritanium, isogen, nox, to encourage them to have to burn through their reserves, because I know obviously there's a lot of belts and that in HiSec, but you don't have access to the Oracle and the Oracle basically. So in order to mine, the amount of tritanium that you need just to build a Titan is quite substantial, considering the best mining ships you have in HiSec are the barges and, you know, give or take the Orca. But again, that doesn't mine as much as the barges. But in HiSec we've got Code, etc., who like to gank barges. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes, and whether HiSec can literally mine the amounts of tritanium needed in order for the nullsec alliances to build the ships that they require. And considering there's a war going on, again, the CCP may have potentially just moved this phase forward in order to get the minerals burnt that they feel needs to be eradicated from the game. And as you'd expect, the fallout from this in the markets has been dramatic. Tritanium is up 37%. As you can see, the spike here is giant, and that pretty much goes across the board. Again, we've got pyrite here, which is trading in jitter at 16% up, not a huge amount. It'd be interesting to see what Mex, Isogen and Noxygen are doing. So Mexalon here, we are up 10%, so not huge. However, it's Isogen and Noxium that are the biggies, and Isogen is up 105%. As you can see here, the general buy amount for a day is 150,000 units, 118,000 units, versus what has been sold today, which is 4.8 billion units. So a dramatic increase. The Noxium, again, huge increase or huge buy, and price for Noxium has spiked by 78%. What we've got after Nox, we've got Zydron. Now, Zydron hasn't spiked as much, but there has been a lot of buy on it, and at present that is up 18%. Now, your mega site isn't up a great deal. In fact, mega site is pretty much exactly where it was. It hasn't changed one bit, although there has been a huge amount of buying going on. So it's just under 500 earlier, and it's just under 500 now. So it's quite interesting that there has been a huge amount bought and sold, but all in all, the price of mega site hasn't really moved. And last but not least, we have the Morphite, which has moved quite dramatically up to 30,000 ISCA units, so up 127%, which is one of the biggest rises. And that could be, again, due to the fact that pretty much Morphite is going to be incredibly hard to get, due to the fact that they're reducing the amount in nullsec by 90%. Now, so as I said earlier, Morphite is generally needed for all, I can't think of any Tech 2 items that are built that don't need Morphite. And again, the markets in regards to items that contain a lot of minerals again have spiked. So if we look at the freighters, etc., we we can see these have gone up a corresponding amount of ISK, because obviously they contain all the minerals. So pretty much prices for everything across the board, assuming the prices stay where they are and haven't just spiked for a short period and go back down, then obviously items are going to increase across the board. And so say that goes for battleships, etc. So as you can see here, a great big spike of people buying the ships up, and currently cheapest in Jitter is 320 million ISK. And the general cost in order to build a Raven right at this very moment with the current prices are, or is, let's have a look, 273 million ISK just to buy it. Then you've got the installation cost, and then you've got the tax on top. So with the current prices, if they do stay where they are, then the new price for a Raven will be around the 300 million ISK mark, which is obviously quite a jump. And just to let you know where I stand, I have bought a good number of battleships. I've bought a good number of Maelstroms here. I've got some Ravens that I've bought. I've got 4 Rooks, and I've managed to buy 4 Abaddons. Now, again, it remains to be seen. I can't see how these can't spike in the coming weeks due to the fact that you physically can't make it for the price that they are being sold for at the moment on the market. If these items do go up to the current price that it does take to build them, then I will make, I think it's about 3.5 to 4 billion ISK profit on the ships that I have bought so far. And the reason I had to buy the ships was because I missed the initial rush in order to buy the minerals, which is a bit unfortunate, but again, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And my general thoughts on this, I don't mind it a great deal, but again, you know, that's easy to say from me in a rather privileged position, that it's not going to affect me a huge amount. In fact, potentially it will work out quite nicely for me if the minerals stay where they are. However, I think a good shake up to EVE is always a good thing, and although this might cause some problems, if you are a high-sec miner you will only be able to mine Tritanium now or Valdespar, but as the nullsec alliances can't mine it, then the chances are the price is going to rise, possibly quite significantly, depending on the amount of stockpiles, etc. that people have. And again, lack of supply means the price of it will go up, so if you are a miner, it could work out quite nicely for you. If you're a manufacturer, you'll just pass the costs on to the customers, so that won't really affect you. Now, the only times potentially it will affect you is in the coming months. Obviously, if this does get revised and you have a large stock of items that you have been producing at the current cost and the price drops considerably, then you will be left holding the bag. So at the moment it's not really a risk, but obviously that risk will increase the longer or more that you have to manufacture stuff. So I don't know, for reference, if you are a freighter manufacturer, then obviously you need a lot of minerals in order to be able to build freighters, etc. And if you are buying them at the current prices for the next couple of months, and then CCP's redistribution phase ends, you'll be holding a lot of mineral stock at a very highly inflated price. But as I said, I quite like it. It messes things up, it creates opportunities, and obviously opportunities give you a chance to make some ISK, and that has to be a good thing. And again, change always comes, change has always been here. Yes, these changes are quite large to already well-established areas of the game that haven't changed a great deal over the years, but that again doesn't mean that they shouldn't. And you know, whether you're skeptical or not, you have to kind of believe that CCP are doing this for the right reasons and not just a bit of a cash grab to make people buy Plex, etc. I think it would be a bit short-sighted from CCP or Pearl Abyss just to do a random cash grab at this moment, due to the fact that the game has been here a long time. The interest in the game is getting better. There is more players in-game. They are bringing other regions, according to CCP, like Japan, etc. They are changing, I don't know, the client into Japanese, so again, expanding the market. And as per Pearl Abyss's financial report, they did make more money from ISK month on month or quarter on quarter. It has been increasing, so EVE isn't in a bad place in itself. And again, you know, you have to think that as a company they are looking for the future, and to kill the golden goose, so to speak, at the moment or at this time would not make a great deal of business sense. So yes, it might suck depending on which part of the game you play at the moment, but CCP did say earlier that there are carrots to be dangled in the near future or the upcoming future. What that means is anybody's guess, and whether you actually enjoy the carrot once it's dangled in front of you, we will see. But this will shake things up for the time being, and yeah, that will make life very interesting for everybody here. This will not affect anybody within the game. Every single person that plays EVE will be affected by this change for the time being. And so on that note, let us know what you think to this change, whether you think it's good or bad. I have read the forums so far, and the overwhelming majority of people believe this, or seems to believe this, is a negative for the game. I don't see that personally, but again, as I said, I am in a bit of a privileged position. I don't need to do much in the game in order to create wealth, or I don't have to, etc. So it'd be interesting to know what you guys think that aren't quite in the position that I find myself. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So watch this space. I believe this is due to hit on the 8th of October. Let's see what date the 8th is. Is it a Tuesday? No, so it could be the 6th of October when this is going to hit. I can't quite recall when they said, and I didn't see it in the dev blog offhand, but it will be relatively soon. So good luck, and so I say, watch this space. But you know, try and treat it as it is. Try and look at it as favourable, and yeah, let's see where this leads in the near future. So yeah, let us know what you think, and thanks for listening. I hope I didn't drone on too long, and I hope that was interesting. Thanks for your time.